Are you worried that believers will drift from the church?
Well, I think my greatest fear is that the Bible says, that we are not to forsake the assembling of ourselves together. And so my greatest fear is that we will. Yeah, I think when I hear Tommy's story, for several reasons, it always is exciting. His transformation, somebody that is at the end of their rope, literally, whether it's the fact that he lost his job, whether it's the fact that at the time he had lost his marriage, found himself in addiction that was really costing him his life. And he was at the point of taking his life, totally giving up, when you think about it. And it's just so encouraging to be reminded that the gospel is the power of life. It has the power to transform. And so I love the fact that his story is the story. It is what God does.
Just a few months before the whole COVID-19 happens and this pandemic hits, and Tommy's just starting his walk with Christ. He's just beginning his journey. And as a pastor, you know how fragile, that beginning is. The chains have just been broken, and the enemy's not happy with that. So he's gonna do whatever he can to disrupt whatever growth has taken place. But I'm just thankful in a sense of like Pastor Troy and Steph, and just being adamant of doing whatever it took to make sure, understanding that we are a church that reaches people who are far from God. We are a church that reaches the lost, and their heart for the lost, and understanding that if we don't figure out how to do church digitally, that so many people, including my brother, would drift from their journey with Christ.
The church really did, I think, a great job at giving new people with faith like myself many opportunities to interact.
We are now entering a new season, and we're excited to announce the reopening of our potential church campuses.
It's so easy, right, to drift away from God. And sitting in a chair as I do 2 or 3 things and listen to a sermon is not the same as gathering together. And when you read the Bible is written to people who are living in community. And that's what Christ has called us to do. And all around the world, people gather in risk, right? Whether it be a communist country and the risk is the government and what they will do, whether the risk is, even here in America, we've seen where shooters have entered churches and taken people's lives. There's a risk that can happen. We do everything we can to keep ourselves safe, just like we do with the virus. Situations like this, they reveal who we really are, how much we believe in the power of the gospel to transform a life. When you think about young families, what do they need more than anything else? Is that they need the hope of the gospel to transform, husband and wife, mom and dad, the kids, generation after generation after generation. And if parents decide to kind of step away, my greatest fear is not only is their generation as young parents impacted, but I think we totally underestimate the impact that it has on our kids, especially with this virus. This is a virus that basically is saying what? It is saying to those who are younger, this is your opportunity, because it affects those who are young at just in a nominal way.
Because we saw that quarantine was really hurting some students. It was causing them to drift, not just from the relationship with God, but their relationship with their parents, their friends. It was causing them to disengage from life as a whole, and we wanted to bring them back in, to remind them of the difference that God had made in their life.
And so we really wanted to provide an opportunity for kids to gather and to be reassured that life, will begin again.
And I think that maybe that's even God's intention and plan, is to force the next generation to start moving things forward and start kind of taking ownership and running with things. And we've definitely seen that within the youth ministry, within this next generation as a whole, through our different, kids camp and youth camp and all these different things, being able to see the next generation take that ownership and actually start kind of really being concerned about where's our world going.